Donald Trump's approval is just absolutely crashing. Last week, it was net -11. Now it's net -17. And when you look at the crosstabs, like his approval amongst 18 to 29-year-olds, it was once +5 heading right out of the election. Now it's -39. So basically a net -45-point swing heading to like a -50-point swing. So what's Donald Trump doing with all of this horrible data that he's getting? I'll go through more of the crosstabs in just a moment. Donald Trump went to the Oval Office as the White House is being decimated, as the East Wing is being bulldozed to the ground, and Donald Trump starts signing Bibles in a bizarre meeting with business leaders. And these are the Bibles that he sells for like $60 on a website, these sticky Bibles. And he holds up like the signed Bibles and he's like, I am declaring that grocery prices are way down. I have defeated inflation. And you have these business leaders there from like Fortune 500 companies like Adobe and IBM and others. And they're like going along with this also, because I think all these business leaders have sold out the people. All these right-wing oligarchs have sold out the people. But watch what he does in the Oval Office. Signed Bible by his side. He goes, grocery prices are way down, when we all know that's false. Especially the 18 to 29-year-olds who are now like net -40 on Donald Trump know that everything this guy says is a lie. Here, play this clip.
Gasoline prices are way down. Grocery prices are way down. Energy prices are way down. Mortgage rates are down. We have a real stiff at the Federal Reserve. I can't help them. But he's going to be leaving soon. And inflation has been defeated. But even though his rates are too high, the economy has been amazing.
And then during this bizarre meeting, he says that, the way we're going to help all the people who are suffering, all the people who are going bankrupt, the farmers who are going bankrupt, construction workers, manufacturers who are in a great recession, auto manufacturers who are getting decimated, Americans who can't survive right now, who are being psychologically tortured, living paycheck to paycheck. Trump's like, I think we'll maybe give some of these people a distribution from all of the tariff money we're getting in. We've brought in $650 billion from the European Union, $550 billion from Japan, $350 billion from South Korea. No, we haven't, Donald. You've not brought in any of this. These countries have said they're not giving you this money. This is yet another fake deal. You're making this up the same way you claim you've brought in $17 trillion and you say that you're going to bring in $20 trillion. Quite literally, all a fugazi, all a fake, all a lie. There's no aspect of it that's true. We're still having record-setting deficits. The deficit has increased right now more under Donald Trump year over year than it did under former President Biden. Our debt is surging under Donald Trump. So if we're taking in all of this money, shouldn't we have a surplus? Well, Donald Trump's lying about everything. But here's what he says in the Oval Office. Play the clip.
We'll start paying off debt. We'll do a lot of things. We'll probably make a distribution out of some of the tariff money. I think we're going to make a distribution over the next fairly short period of time to people, because we took in so much money from the tariffs. Just European Union, $650 billion. Japan, $550 billion. South Korea, $350 billion. That's even a lot of money for you guys, right? That's not bad, right?
And then Donald Trump says, I will only, this is, so one of the people in the press said, so will you even speak with Schumer? Will you even speak with Leader Jeffries? Remember where Schumer and Jeffries were first saying, we'll meet with you anytime, any place. Let's do it with the camera so we can just show the American people and we can be transparent about it, right? Schumer said that first on the MeidasTouch network. You remember my interview with him. Leader Jeffries, who is the leader of the Democrats in the House, he said it on the MeidasTouch first. They said, let's go. Let's talk about these issues. Let's talk about the Affordable Care Act subsidies. Let's talk about how we can improve healthcare. Let's talk about how we can get out of this Trump and MAGA Republican caused government shutdown. So the reporter asked Donald Trump, so will you meet with the Democratic leaders and negotiate? And Donald Trump says no. He goes, until they sign onto the very dirty continuing resolution, which would take away health care from 20 million plus Americans. He goes, until they do that, I'm not even going to talk to the Democrats. I want you to listen to Donald Trump in his own words. This is a very important clip where Trump says he's not even talking. I just want you to think about that. Refusing to speak with the other side. Now recall 5th grade government class. Our entire system of government depends on the parties talking to each other. So what happens when one party, in this case, the MAGA Republicans, just go full fascist? They go, we don't even want to talk to the other side. That's what we're seeing here. Here, play this clip.
Senator Schumer said he reached out to you about meeting on the government shutdown. Will you meet with him before you leave for Asia on Friday?
Well, I will actually. I'd love to meet with them. I just want them to open up the country first. You know, the country is so hot right now. And they've never voted against, continuation. They've never voted against. They've never done that. They're doing this because they have Trump derangement syndrome. But I would love to meet. I would like to meet with both of them. But I set one little caveat. I will only meet if they let the country open. They have to let the country open. The people want to go back to work. They want to be served. They need the services of some people. And a lot of people need the money, the payroll. So I'll do it as soon as they open up the country. I'd like to meet.
So you won't meet with them until the government. Just to be clear, you won't meet with them until the government's open.
The government has to be open, yeah.
And then he just goes on to lie and lie. And he says, I'm bringing down prices. Drug prices are down 600%, 700%, 900%. You can't bring down prices 900%. That would mean the pharmaceutical companies are paying people money. That means if I bought whatever the drug is for $1, the pharmaceutical company is going to pay me $900. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Here, play this clip.
And now I'm bringing prices down 600%, 700%, 900%, 200%. So I can't believe I actually had a news conference to celebrate.
Then Donald Trump tries to justify that he's tearing down the East Wing of the White House. He has bulldozers, as you know, just destroying the White House. And the way he tries to justify it, how do you think he's going to do it? By attacking Obama, and says the problem is Obama's building his library with women and DEI. He's doing it with women and DEI, that Obama. The hell are you talking? Women and DEI? Dude, what are you doing? And do we all recognize how, in my opinion, tell me if you agree, how traitorous, how treasonous, how despicable it is that they've destroyed and desecrated the White House, that they rammed into the freaking East Wing with bulldozers? Like, I can't even believe I'm saying that in a sentence. Here, play this clip.
You're building your ballroom right now. They're also building the Obama Presidential Library. I'm wondering if you've
He
seen.
needs help.
Have you seen pictures of the architecture? And
Yeah, I did. It's not too pretty. No, but it's closed. It's stopped. They ran out of money. I mean, he's building a library / museum. You call it some museum, and usually they call it both. They call it library and museum. That's the official name. And they're stuck. And he wanted only women and DEI to build it. Well, that's what they got. And the construction workers are standing out there and saying, we want to be able to build it. You know, I built a great building in Chicago, as you know, a big, beautiful building, one of the tallest buildings in the country. And we got it built very quickly, very well. And we used the construction workers of Chicago. They're great workers. They're great construction people. And I suggest that you get them involved. But they're hundreds of millions of dollars over budget. And I think it stopped. I'm reading these terrible stories. But that's the way our country was run under President Obama, too. Nobody knew it.
Then Donald Trump says, why would I negotiate with Democrats? They lost the last negotiation. They lost because the what Trump calls the big, beautiful bill, what I call the disastrous budget bill. Trump's like, the Republicans pushed that forward, so Democrats lost. So I never have to negotiate with Democrats again. No, the way our system works is if you want to fund the government and you don't control 60 seats in the Senate, you have to speak to the other side. Except if you're Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans who refuse to talk, who are going to cause the longest shutdown in the history. I predict that this shutdown will last through the end of the year. Easy. And I think this shutdown could go into next year. Play this clip.
How long do
They're
you
not
think this could
negotiating.
go?
What they're doing is saying they lost the negotiation, and when we got the great big beautiful deal done, they lost that negotiation. Now they're saying, well, we want to get some of the things we lost. But the problem is the things they lost are very bad for our country.
And if you go, well, then, Ben, when do you think the shutdown's going to end? Well, I think as Americans start to get the letters, which they're already getting from insurance companies saying because the Affordable Care Act subsidies have been eliminated, your monthly premiums will be going up and now will cost you $2,000, $3,000 a month. And Americans will say, we can't afford that. We're going to lose our health care. Then they're going to demand action. And then I think Trump's still going to refuse to do anything. He's going to compound the situation and make it worse. I think he then compels the MAGA Republicans in the Senate to kill the filibuster and to then try to stop the shutdown by killing the filibuster. And it's just going to cause mass chaos and pandemonium in the United States. That's what I predict is going to happen. And I've been pretty spot on in my predictions thus far. Then a reporter asked Donald Trump, so there's been lots of reporting out there now that you intend to reach a settlement with yourself to have the Department of Justice pay you $230, $250 million because you claim that the 2020 election was rigged and you claim you deserve all of this money for all the government investigations into your crimes. So you're going to force a settlement where the federal government pays you $250 million. And then Donald Trump's like, I don't know what the exact number is. I don't know what it is, but I guess we'll see. Here, play this clip.
Are you asking the Justice Department to look into the federal investigations into you and look for compensation? And how much are you asking for?
Who's asking for what?
Are you asking the Justice Department to pay you compensation for
Who's compensation?
your federal investigations into you? Are you asking them to pay compensation, and how much?
Into me? I don't get any compensation. I do it for nothing. I gave up my salary. Into me?
No, it's going to be the Justice Department. Are you asking them to pay you compensation for the federal investigations that happened to you? And how much are you asking for?
Well, I guess they probably owe me a lot of money for that. Probably, yes, it's true. That's very interesting. No, I get no salary. I gave up my salary. It's a good salary. Not as much as these guys make, but that's okay. It's a lot of money. And I don't, as you know, I didn't take it in the first 4 years. I'm not taking it in these 4 years either. But as far as all of the litigation and everything that's going on, yeah, they probably owe me a lot of money. But if I get money from our country, I'll do something nice with it, like give it to charity or give it to the White House where we restore the White House. And we're doing a great job in the White House. As you know, the ballroom is under construction. It's going to be, they've been trying to get it for 150 years. And it's really, I think it's going to be fantastic. But we'll see what happens. I mean, we have numerous cases having to do with the fraud of the election, the 2020 election. And because of everything that we found out, I guess they owe me a lot of money, but I'm not looking for money. I'm looking for really, I think it's got to be handled in a proper way. If it's not handled in a proper way, we don't want it to happen again. We can never let what happened in the 2020 election happen again. We just can't let that happen. And so the way we go, I know Cash is working on it. Everybody's working on it, and certainly Tulsi's working on it. We can't let that happen again to our country. Look at what's happened where you have millions of people being allowed to come into our country, all because of a crooked election.
Okay, so I just want to take a step back for a second and let's understand this. Our government is shut down. Americans are living paycheck to paycheck and suffering. Things are far less affordable right now than they were a year ago. We all know that to be the case. Inflation is surging, right? People's health care is being ripped away. We know that. Undisputed facts that that's taking place. So Donald Trump is giving a $40 billion bailout to Argentina because they have a MAGA puppet leader there, Javier Milei, and we're trying to interfere with the elections there. We're just basically incinerating $40 billion there. You have Donald Trump building a golden ballroom and ripping down the east wing of the White House. with money that apparently comes from businesses, but who the hell knows where the money's even really coming from? There's zero transparency. Is it coming from foreign governments? Like, what the hell is happening? Donald Trump is also talking about building a triumphal arch, a Arc de Trump, to honor himself with an arch. The way Hitler wanted a triumphal arch to celebrate Germania, right? Germania. Donald Trump wants a triumphal arch to celebrate himself. A reporter asked him about it, just so you can see for yourself, the other day. And Donald Trump says, yeah, it's an arch that he's building for himself. I'll play you that clip in just a moment. Trump's talking about UFC fights on the White House lawn. They've ripped apart the Rose Garden. And now he wants to reach settlements with himself for $250 million. He wants to literally steal from our treasury and pay himself $250 million, which he claims is going to go to, we all know what he's going to do with it. Anyway, just here's the clip of the Trump talking about the arch that he wants to build for himself. After the ballroom, he's going arch. Here, play this clip.
What is this, Mr. President?
Thank you, guys.
It's going to be built.
Thank you all. You come this way. Thank you.
For who?
Thanks, guys.
Take a look.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no, I know where it is, but who's it for?
Thank you, guys.
It's going to be a beautiful.
The Arc de Trump?
And then, as I said, you have the CEOs in the room, and it's just so pathetic. The Adobe CEO, here's what he says. Play this clip.
And prosperity and investment in this country is just amazing. And as a company, I think hopefully everybody here is using Photoshop in order to, take all these pictures. But I would really like to thank you for your leadership.
Then you have the IBM CEO. Here, play this clip right here.
How much are you investing IBM?
150 billion over the next 5 years.
150 billion, that's good.
Meanwhile, George Santos, one of the things that Trump did during the shutdown is release George Santos, commuted his sentence. George Santos stole the credit cards of Republican donors and bought himself plastic surgeries and stuff for his home. And he was sentenced to many years in prison, but Trump commuted that sentence. But George Santos says the big issue is Mamdani. And because George Santos is worried about the crime that can take place in New York City, it's going to become a dangerous place. George Santos says he's going to have to leave New York City. As this one account says, Mamdani is already getting the criminals out of New York City. Gianmarco Ceresi says that. And meanwhile, while all of this is taking place, you have Canada's foreign minister meeting with the Chinese foreign minister, and China and Canada showing a readiness to mend mutual ties as both nations realize what's happening with the United States, recognize that the previous world order has been disintegrated, and as the South China Morning Post talks about, a pragmatic shift joining together. I'm going to do a whole other video on Canada this morning, so watch that video. I'll post that video after this video about, and then Canada took out Ontario took out a $75 million ad campaign in the United States. They ran it during the American League finals the other night, leading up to the World Series. And it's about how tariffs are crushing American people. We know they're crushing American people. And for Trump to say inflation's gone, we're in a golden age, everything's going great, when the American people know that's false. I mean, this guy is the biggest con artist in the history of the world. And he's destroyed the United States of America. He's destroyed the White House. He's destroyed America. He's destroyed our power. He's destroyed the wealth of the country. He's bankrupting the country before our eyes. We don't even get the data right now because the Bureau of Labor Statistics is shut down, and they're not doing job data. They're not posting inflation data. And then these Ponzi scheme right-wing corporate leaders are all out there without the data, enriching themselves and screwing over the people. We know how this story ends, right? We know how this story ends. It's not good. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to add the MeidasTouch podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for new updates every single day.